Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome you to the Swiss Chrono Connect platform. How are you? Well, it's Friday afternoon, and this is our last webinar for this week. And thank you that you are joining this webinar. And I would like to thank all participants for joining us the last days, for the input, for the feedback in the chat, and of course for the questions. It's amazing to have this platform here to answering your questions, to be interactive. And now we will have our last webinar now in English with a great and very interesting topic. Well, healthy living and how innovative interior elements can contribute to this. This is our topic today. And we will talk about antimicrobial surfaces of BE.SAFE and about our hands, which unfortunately are very often the transmitter of bacteria and even viruses. I'm really looking forward now to our experts, and I will do a short introduction to them. So please welcome with me Christoph Berle. He is the housing health expert and managing director of Sentinel House. Hello, good afternoon, Christoph Berle.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Very good.
Oh, I hear you well as well. And we will see us in a few minutes with your lecture. And I will welcome the environment expert, Helmut Köttner. He's here. Hello, Mr. Köttner. At Sentinel House, he is responsible for the technical questions for buildings and the environment. Hello, you can hear me as well.
Wonderful.
Great. And I'm very happy to have the product manager of the innovative antimicrobial BE.SAFE here with me in the studio. So please welcome Bettina Lanz. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine.
I'm really looking forward to your lecture in a few minutes, and we will talk about BE.SAFE. So now we will start with a lecture by Christoph Berle, because healthy living are a highly topical issue and there are many aspects contributing. So, Mr. Berle, please give us some insights.
Yeah, happy to do that. Good afternoon, dear all. As you introduced me, my name is Christoph Berle. I am a managing director of the Sentinel House Institute. What our company does is being focused to protect people from health risks in building, easily said. Within the next minutes, I'm happy to lose some words about the topic healthy living. Next slide, please. Healthy living contains a quite wide area of characteristics. As you see in this slide, building products, furniture, water, cleaning, light, sound, ventilation, and even hygienic aspects contribute to healthy living. This range of different influences leads to a certain complexity where usually the competences of more than one expert is required to reach a perfect healthy home. That's why our institute established a network of many experts over the last 15 years. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Thank you. Healthy living contains a quite wide area of characteristics. As you see, one of the main impact of a healthy living is the quality of indoor air, which is affected by several influences you have seen on the previous slide, like example, building products, furniture, cleaning products, and by the way, cleaning processes. This is very critical things where many things can be done wrong. We often tend to use more cleanings than necessary, which is critical in respect even of indoor air quality. Considering that we breathe easily 18 kilogram, and it is really kilogram on air in one day, we can imagine how important the quality of this breath air is. And beside oxygen, which is vital for our life, of course, we breathe many substances which can threat our health. For example, solvents, formaldehyde, viruses, fungals, etc. Usually, our marvelous evoluted bodies can absorb these undesired substances in order to stay healthy. But it is scientifically proven that the higher the concentration of these mentioned substances is being given, which we breathe, the higher we risk our health. This can cause allergies or even more serious diseases. Next slide, please. Our Sentinel House Institute is following a holistic approach to all stakeholders which contribute to the building market. We advise, for example, building material trade companies. We have a work name, the Green Shelf. We evaluate building products and recommend these products which meet our criteria to our network. And of course, planners and architects find these products listed on our digital platform, the Sentinel House portal. Moreover, we support building companies by giving orientation on the right products. We train the right processes on construction site, and we visit construction sites in order to proceed quality measurements. Our final service is measuring the indoor air as clear evidence of the reached indoor air quality. By the way, we are measuring more than 400 substances, so we go very deep in detail. Result is that we can hand out a certificate which documents the excellent indoor air quality of the specific building. Next slide, please. The share of people who realize the essential meaning of healthy living to their health is, in general, has been growing significantly within the last decade. As one evidence of this, in January this year, the company YouGov made a survey by interviewing 2,030 people. This survey was delegated by Europe's largest media conglomerate, Gruner & Jahr. And on this slide, you see three main results. 72% of the interviewed people claimed that a good indoor air quality is very important to them. Almost 80% expect their employers to ensure healthy office rooms in their workspaces. And a very interesting statement from my side, each second interviewed person is willing to spend more money in order to receive healthy products. That shows that research and development of health contributing building material is worthwhile. Next slide, please. As I mentioned before, this study was ordered by the media conglomerate Gruner & Jahr to get a clear picture what people's attitude regarding healthy living. This result shows very clear that the awareness, hence demand for healthy living is strongly given. This led Gruner & Jahr to take healthy living as a top issue to their magazines and their online represents as well. According to their own statement, Gruner & Jahr wants to implement from now on, from this year beginning, healthy living into, so to say, their DNA. We as Sentinel House Institute are very happy that Gruner & Jahr decided to cooperate with us as an expert to contribute the right content for their publications. Next slide, please. We appreciate very much when building product industry releases new developed products which contribute to the health of people. And here we have a very innovative and impressive product as well, represented by BE.SAFE from Swiss Chrono. BE.SAFE, equipped with an antimicrobial surface, is a perfect product to protect people from diseases caused by viruses, bacteria, or fungal. This can be happened by touching contaminated surfaces. We almost can't count how often this happens all day long. Children are even more threatened like adults due to their natural given carelessness. BE.SAFE can be used in private spaces as well as in office or public buildings. That wide range of applications makes this product, from our point of view, very attractive. So there are many use cases given, many applications where we see potential to protect people from these described risks. Next slide, please. After our Sentinel House Institute had the opportunity to test BE.SAFE, we have been quite impressed. The test results are very convincing. Hence, you find this product, among others from Swiss Chrono, of course, listed and recommended in our digital Sentinel House portal. And moreover, we recommend our customers in the building industry to consider this certified BE.SAFE products in their plannings due to its evident contribution to health. Dear all, this was my small contribution to the Connect event. It was a pleasure from my side. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Thank you very much for being with me. Stay healthy and have a good time.
Thank you, Mr. Berle. Thank you for your insights. And dear participants, if you have questions, of course, you can put them in our chat and our experts will answer them very soon. So, and I think there are a lot of interesting topics or questions you can put there. So now we go on with our next lecture and we take a close look to surfaces of furniture and interior elements. And Helmut Köttner knows that a clean-looking surface is not necessarily clean when considering the hygienic aspect. So what can we discover on surfaces, Mr. Köttner?
Yes, Mr. Derricks, thank you for the introduction. Surfaces can not only be useful or pretty, but may also present a certain risk when it comes to infections. Christoph Berle already mentioned that before, and I would like to give you some information about these risks and the possible solutions. So, next slide is the pathways of infections are, besides the transmission through the air, through aerosols, the direct or indirect contact of people or surfaces. This is the other important pathway in the spread of infections, and this transmission route is termed a contact infection or smear infection. This chain of infection is either kept up through direct contact with an infected person, like you give hands, you shake hands, you kiss somebody, or through the contact with objects or surfaces. That works as follows. The germs are disseminated onto the surface by the infected person, for example, by sneezing, or the infected person contaminates the surface by the contaminated hand. Following this, another person touches the surface with their hands and then gets in contact with the mucous membranes, nose, mouth, eyes. I think we had to learn this lesson very hard in the last months when we learned to prevent coronavirus disease. Next slide. The infection through contact comprises diseases like diarrheal diseases, which are spread through noroviruses or salmonella, and also conjunctivitis, which you can easily catch while you touch a surface and then, for example, rub your eye, which is the main pathway through which conjunctivitis is spread. But also other partly severe diseases are facilitated through contact infections. Those are hospital-acquired infections like through multi-resistant bacteria. Maybe you've heard of MRSA. Also with COVID-19, there is a pathway through contact infections via surfaces And for influenza and flu-like infections, it's very common to know that the contact infections to surfaces play an important role. What can you do against these infection pathways? The main and first advice is general hygiene. Wash your hands, disinfect your hands, and disinfect surfaces. But also, a very good contribution is to select the suitable materials which are easy to clean, which are easy to disinfect, and have an antimicrobial efficiency. Next slide, please. There are several useful areas of application for antimicrobial equipment. As I will tell you in the next slide, there's also one field of application where it doesn't make sense, but useful sectors are the healthcare sector, hospitals, for example, nursing homes, rehabilitation centers, and doctors' offices, where various applications can be found for antimicrobial equipment. But also in gastronomy, where not only people are the source of contamination, but also the processed foods. In food manufacturing and processing counters or kitchens. Other public spaces where you have a lot of people, which are not necessarily infectious, but some may be, also present hygienic risk. For example, in train stations, airports, where you have entrance doors, door fittings, counters, and also hotels and restaurants, where mainly the counters and entrance areas present the source of contamination from one person to another. As I said before, one field of application is not recommended by authorities like German Environmental Agency, Robert Koch Institute, and also the American US EPA. And that is the household-related applications, which goes as far as hygienic paper, tissue paper, toilet paper, and also textiles, sportswear, socks, kitchen items with cutting boards, knives, and refrigerator surfaces. In these connections, the hygiene measures, which are usually taken by the household participants, are totally sufficient, and antimicrobial equipment would be overdoing it. You could sum it up that antimicrobial equipment is a complement to general hygiene. It does not replace cleaning or disinfection. So when a manufacturer chooses the antimicrobial equipment, what are the strategies would have to be met, and what are the guidelines? The antimicrobial effectiveness is, of course, most important of all, otherwise you wouldn't have to do all the stuff. It should be verified through appropriate laboratory procedures, should not be harmful for human health or for the environment. For example, you can imagine when clothes with antimicrobial equipment are washed, the washing water goes, the wastewater goes into the sewer and into the environment. And last but not least, it should be avoided that pathogenic germs develop a resistance against antibiotics. There are actually two strategies or two types of equipment which are used by manufacturers to do an antimicrobial effect. There are passive materials and active materials. Passive materials structure the surface so that it is very hard for the germs to stick to that surface. And there are several strategies. And second point is they shouldn't present nutrients for the cultivation of germs. On the other hand, active material could work by releasing active ingredients like organic biocides used to be utilized. Maybe you have heard of triclosan, which is nowadays prohibited for household use. But today, mostly metals like silver and copper are used. With that second strategy for active materials to reduce the microbial contamination is the use of contact active materials, which have surface properties that attack the shell of the microorganism, as is shown on those slide. They crack the surface like the fork of that you use for eating. So, last thing I want to convey is how is the antimicrobial effect being tested? It is tested by internationally standardized tests like ISO standards, which are conducted by accredited testing laboratories. And one of them I want to give you a short summary on is the ISO 22196, which is used worldwide. It is widely used in Asia, North America, and Europe, and was developed from a Japanese standard originally. And it's very convenient for testing of plastic materials on equipped surfaces. The germs which are applied to the surfaces are applied to one, the equipped surface, and one to a non-equipped surface. Both are incubated mainly for 24 hours, and any changes in terms of germ concentration are then documented. So after the cultivation time, you get the concentration of the germs on the treated sample and the non-treated sample, and you compare the two, and so you get the effect of the antimicrobial equipment. The antimicrobial effectivity of more than 99.9% is regarded as strong according to this international standard. In laboratory testing with various test germs, BE.SAFE reached an efficiency of more than 99.96 up to 99.99996. So this convinced us to recommend BE.SAFE in the Sentinel House portal as a building material suitable for healthy living. So this was it from my side. If you have any further questions, and please don't hesitate to contact us. And so long, thank you for your attention.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Köttner, for your insights and for your informations. And I hope you will be here just for a few minutes to answer maybe some questions in the chat. Thank you and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Yeah, very impressive facts we have here right now. But now I want to know, how is this possible, Bettina? How does the antimicrobial effect work?
I will show you that in a few seconds.
Yeah, it's amazing. How could you do this?
Yeah, so let's say we thought ahead.
you make it
some little magic.
Okay, a bit magic. So then the stage is yours, and I'm really looking forward. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, everyone. Yeah, as we already heard before, surfaces play a major role in the spread of disease, and so Swiss Chrono thought a bit ahead. We thought, let's go a step further and extend the antibacterial effect our common or commercial furniture surfaces already have, and let's have a look for the antiviral and antifungal effect. So we sat together with experts and set our demands, which then were our guidelines. So it was clear for us to create a surface which has no nanoparticles in it. So we wanted to create a hygienic and also a healthy surface. In addition, we also wanted to create this effect as long-lasting as possible. So our research and development team succeeded in creating an additive which makes it now possible for us to have world's first furniture surface with an antimicrobial effect, the BE.SAFE. So what's the difference between the BE.SAFE surface and a normal, conventional melamine-faced surface? So we see it here. As said, conventional melamine-faced surfaces protect us against bacteria, but the BE.SAFE has a triple protection, so it protects us from bacteria, fungi, and viruses. This triple effect protection is maintained throughout the whole product life cycle, and this was achieved by adding the additive during the impregnation of the decor paper and then pressing it together with the core boards. So this whole technique makes it possible that the additive stays within the surface the whole product life cycle and it doesn't resolves and goes out. So it's safe for food, children and animals. Those points were tested and also confirmed and certified by a independent company, the Hohenstein Institute, according to EU standards. But how does it really work? As you can see here, we have a uncoated wooden panel where bacteria, viruses and fungi can live their life as they want. On a melamine-faced panel, you see we have already some bacteria, let's say, eliminated. And on our BE.SAFE panel, we're able to have this antimicrobial protection, which deprives the bacteria, fungus, and viruses of their opportunity to multiply and as well as to move. So the BE.SAFE dries out the bacteria, fungus, and viruses by a physical process. This is how alcohol works in disinfectant. And therefore we have this stunning amount of a strong antimicrobial effect of 99.99%. Not only the hygienic advantages of the BE.SAFE are incredible. At Swiss Corona we have high standards for our products, and this is not to be neglected within this product. Our product, the BE.SAFE, remains the same standard properties a common surface or a common melamine face board offers. So, for example, the mechanical properties as load-bearing capacity stays exactly the same. The same also applies to the property of the surface. So we have the same scratch resistance and also color and surface match. For me as a trained carpenter, it's very interesting to have all those aspects. So the countless possibilities we have in combining the core board with the surface and also different decor papers we have makes this product so ingenious. The BE.SAFE surface is not visually or haptically different than to conventional coated boards, which makes it sometimes also difficult to see the difference or feel it, because you can't. And therefore we said, yeah, we coat the board on both sides and let all the properties be the same, so it's easy for a planner and also for the producer or implementer to process the boards. So you are safe and sound all around. As we all want to have more security in these times, or at least normality, our BE.SAFE would make sense to include in various options. So for example, in restaurants or also in hotels where you just want to enjoy the moment. It will also make a lot of sense to include BE.SAFE surfaces in heavily frequented places like hospitals or medical practices. Daycare centers or also schools where you have kids which are very curious and want to discover everything with all their senses, then you don't need to worry about cleaning the every surface all the time. BE.SAFE would be an option there. And also, in sport facilities where you, at least in the changing room, come in contact with various surfaces, it would be a great opportunity to use it there. The same also applies to shops or commercial spaces where you touch the shelves or the checkout counters. So having a safety there would be great. Yeah. One of the main points why we couldn't see our friends or relatives in the last few nearly years was also the spread of diseases via surfaces. So let's think about residential homes where people come together and sit, for example, on a table. If the table would have the BE.SAFE surface, we would already there achieve some security and protect old and young. Next to this, it also applies to your home space. For example, you're in the kitchen and here grab a spoon there or a plate there, whatever. You touch surfaces, and that's not different to your flatmates. So let's start today. Use BE.SAFE today in your planning and prevent disease and even pandemics. And to come clear with those arguments again, I will go through them shortly. First of all, the additive we add to our melamine-faced panels is anchored permanently into the melamine resin matrix. This is done by a special technology, and this also leads to a effect which lasts the entire product life cycle. Second, we guarantee a triple effect protection against viruses, bacteria, and fungi, in contrast to conventional coated panels, which only protect us against bacteria. Then the high standards we have at Swiss Chrono, which was a key point for us, that we don't add any nanoparticles to make our boards safe for children, animals, and also for food. Then the aspect I really appreciate is the look and feel of the surface that doesn't change. So BE.SAFE has the same effects and also the same properties as a standard board. So you have many possibilities to implement it. And then also why we have those many options, the surfaces don't differ. So it also is, yeah, exactly. It was important for us that they don't differ. And so we don't add any time while processing or planning a whole project. And yes, with all those arguments, I hope I could convince you of our latest product, the BE.SAFE surface.
Thank you very much, Bettina. Thank you for these insights. So just come over to me. You want to grab your glass of water, or?
Good point.
Yes, we have time and we can make it very cozy right now. Thank you. Wow, BE.SAFE. It's just an amazing new product, right? It's something you don't have in this form, right?
It is. It is something very new.
Yeah. And for how long did you know the research? When you start with researching and everything?
I can't say you an exact date, but it was years.
So for years you make all these expertise and the researching, and now it's so, yeah, in this time we live right now, it's a perfect product, right?
It is, yeah, it perfectly fits into our days. So we have so many possibilities to work with the BE.SAFE surface and at the same time protect people from what bothers us every day now.
What is your expectation when when the people will hear about the product? What do you think will be the feedback right now? Because we need to look after the health and everything. What do you think?
I really think that it is a great product, and it, yeah, as I said, it just fits perfectly into our time. So, and we don't need to have any restrictions by using it, because we have the option in Swiss Chrono to use the BE.SAFE surface with all our One World decors, surfaces, and you can even choose your core board you desire.
So it looks amazing in your apartment and everything, and it's not very clean. You
Exactly.
can use it with every surface.
Exactly, yeah, you don't feel the difference. So it's just, imagine you buy a new sideboard. It could be the surface, BE.SAFE surface on it, but you won't recognize it.
So you have so many possibilities to use it.
Exactly.
Wow, I think maybe there are some questions, dear participants, and you can put them in the chat, and Bettina Lanz will answering them after the webinar, because it's something so special and new. So please put them in the chat, because it's the last opportunity now live to put them in. But if you missed now the webinar, or you missed the webinars from the last days, from today on you have the possibility to watch the recordings on the Connect platform from, I think, from the evening on. So you can use your weekend to watch all the webinars from the last day and today. Bettina, you have something what was not in your lecture. Is there something you want to tell us and the participants about BE.SAFE?
I hope I really covered everything, but just to add that antimicrobial, this word is very hard to say.
It is, yeah.
So it covers bacteria, viruses, and fungi. So we tested it, and the Hohenstein Institute approved it.
Yeah, and the results are amazing, right?
Yes, they are.
Thank you very much for joining us here and for the lecture and the insights. Yes, dear participants, we both now want to say thank you, and we hope you enjoy it. And this new platform of Swiss Chrono is now a possibility to share insights, to share webinars, to share movies around all the products of Swiss Chrono. And we hope you enjoy it, and we hope you will like it. So please, once again, please give us the feedback and the input for the future, so that we can optimize everything here on this platform. We wish you now a nice weekend, a nice evening, and a nice afternoon. We hope you enjoy it, and we see us soon. Bye.